bring in now the Syria response director for Save the Children, Sonia Khush. Sonia, you just heard James' report there. Let's talk more about these kids. He mentioned many of them orphans. They are being recruited to join these ISIS fighters. What more can you tell us about these vulnerable kids?
Sure. Well, we think there are about 700 boys currently in the prison. And they all have really complicated backgrounds, though. As James mentioned, when they were first picked up and put into prison, it was a really chaotic situation, and none of them really went through any proper screening to determine whether they had been trained or whether they had been fighting or whether they were simply picked up because they were teenage boys. So we think there's a whole mix of kids in there. A lot of them had nothing to do with being, cubs of the caliphate. And so it's been really unfortunate that it's been almost 3 years now that those kids have been in prison. They haven't had any contact with their family, and they have no idea what's going to happen to them. Obviously, we're really concerned for them now. We understand the fighting is concentrated in the area where they are. We can only assume that there have been casualties and injuries. I would imagine there's not much medical care happening in the facility right now. So I think when this really settles, we're going to learn some pretty horrific things of what's going on right now.
Is there anything that can be done for these kids? And is there any way that Save the Children can get to them, can ever be allowed to get close to them? I mean, just describe the barriers and what you're up against when you're trying to save kids like this.
Well, Save the Children has been supporting these kids since 2020, actually. We were giving them, relief items and food. They used to ask for fruit all the time. We were setting up areas for them to have outdoor activities, just, anything they could do to get out of these really crowded conditions that they were living in. However, now with the fighting going on, we have no access to enter. It would not be safe for us to, get anywhere near the prison right now. But our hope is, and what we've been calling for, is for them to be evacuated, to not be used as human shields and pawns, get them to places where they can be safe so that we can, support them again. They're going to need a lot of health care and sort of mental health support. But even that, it's just a short-term solution. We really need to look at getting these kids out of prison. A lot of them still have mothers and fathers that are alive. They're not orphans. Their mothers are in the camps in northeast Syria. So we need to start reunifying with them with their families. 3 years is more than enough to have spent in prison.
What will it take to do that, Sonia, to get them out of there and reintegrate?
Well, the fighting needs to, come to a halt. We hope that the adults see, the folly of holding children as human shields and pawns and let them go. Then we need to get them to a safe place. We need to get them some immediate support of what they need, and then work with, the Syrian Democratic Forces, but more importantly, with the governments of whose nationals those children are. There are foreign boys from dozens of countries from around the world who are currently in that prison. And those governments have basically abandoned them and left them there. And now we've seen the consequences of their inaction. These boys need to be brought home to their countries. They should not be in Syria still.
Well, we will follow this story along with you, James Longman. He's doing some really great reporting for us. But we want to stay in touch with you, Sonia, and talk more about these kids and follow your efforts. Appreciate your time so much.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.